Wei Chen began to get tired. His right hand began to get tired and hard to move. After a while, he couldn't move his hand anymore to avoid his enemy's attacks. Because of that, he finally lost in that battle in another room. The leader of the Glory Federation League finally made a decision. He decided to ban Yi Shu from any Glory official competition. Then, the captains of the great teams gave their testimonies about Yi Shu. He told him that Yi Shu was really kind and smart. They said that Yi Shu had created many useful tips and strategies for the players. They really respected Yi Shu and saw him as a good rival, mentor, and friend. Because of that, banning Yi Shu from playing Glory was a bad idea. They thought that it would be bad for the Glory community because they would lose a good mentor. It would also make the competitions become less competitive than before. During the break time, Happy was having a meeting. Wei Chen still suspected that Wu Chen was going to betray them, so he asked them to exclude him again in the next battle. He didn't even ask Wu Chen to join the meeting. Other members were confused about Wei Chen's decision. They asked him why they needed to exclude Wu Chen, but Wei Chen refused to give them the real answer. Because of that, they got into an argument. After they broke their fight, Guo told them that they would agree with Wei Chen's decision. After all, Wei Chen was entrusted by Yi Shu to take care of the team while Yi Shu was gone. Then, they decided to make Yi Shu as the substitute player. Wu Chen couldn't do anything but to accept those decisions. The battle then finally began. During the game, all members of Happy were playing passively. They did it purposely to wait for Yi Shu to come back, but unfortunately, the enemies found them. Because of that, they had no other choice but to fight them back. Little Tang was still obsessed to defeat 3 of her enemies. Meanwhile, Wei Chen was struggling to fight his enemy because his wrist got injured. He often missed his attacks and his energy got drained a lot. It seemed like both Happy and the opposing team were targeting each other's healer. Wei Chen saw and when Yi was being chased by an enemy, he targeted that enemy immediately. He attacked him, but he missed his attack again. His attack hit the building. Instead, the building collapsed and fell on and when Yi died instantly. Because of that, at another place, Little Tang was struggling to fight her enemies. She was finally defeated by them. She had to admit that she couldn't defeat 3 enemies by herself in another room. After the Glory Federation League considered the opinions of the captains of the great teams, they finally decided to allow Yi Shu to play in the game tournament, but Yi Shu could only play Glory as his new identity, Yi Shu, and not as Yi Shu. As the consequence, all achievements that EQIU had made in Excellent Era would be removed. Excellent Era would suffer a loss because of that. After Yi Shu heard that decision, he rushed out of the building. He texted Su Mucheng and asked her to take him to the stadium. When Yi Shu arrived at the stadium, he found out that Wei Chen, Little Tang, and Wen Yi's characters had died. There were only Yi Shu, Baozi, and Yifan left, so the 3 of them had to fight against 6 members of the opposing team. Yi Shu realized that it would be difficult for them to defeat 6 people, so his strategy was to lure their enemies into a cliff. After all enemies followed Yi Shu to the cliff, Baozi blew up the cliff. As the cliff collapsed, everybody on that cliff also fell, except Yi Shu. Yi Shu managed to save himself by flying with his propeller, but suddenly, an enemy grabbed his legs and tried to destroy his myriad manifestation umbrella, which was also his propeller. Yi Shu's propeller emitted smoke after it was damaged by his enemy. Yifan saw them and helped Yi Shu immediately. He jumped on the body of the enemy who was grabbing Yi Shu's legs. Because they were too heavy, they finally fell together. Yi Shu managed to get back to the top of the cliff. If he could defeat the last member of the opposing team, then he would win in this battle. The fierce battle between Yi Shu and the swordsman finally began. Yi Shu used his myriad manifestation umbrella to fight his enemy, probably because it had been used too much during the game. Yi Shu's myriad manifestation umbrella suddenly broke. It was broken when Yi Shu used it to defend himself from his enemy's attack. Yi Shu also died instantly from that attack. Because of that, Happy finally lost in that competition. They were pressured and saddened by their loss, especially EQIU. Yi Shu was really sad because he lost the weapon that was made by his best friend. It was also the only non-specialized weapon that ever existed in Glory. It would be almost impossible to fix the weapon. Even if it could be fixed, it would take a very long time. At the Bassa camp, in their own rooms, all members of Happy were still thinking about their loss. They even thought of giving up. Yi Shu decided to return home for a while. When he arrived there, he went to the room where he played Glory for the first time with Su Muxiu and Su Mucheng. He saw their picture there. He remembered that Sumuxiu would get angry at him when he accidentally damaged his property. He wanted to cry because of that. Then, he had a flashback about the time where he bought an arcade game with his own money. He got that money after he won in a game in the present time. Sumucheng was watching Yishu playing the arcade game while crying. She also cried when she saw that. She was sad because it reminded her of her brother Sumuxiu at the base camp of Happy. The members of Happy thought that they had no future anymore. They thought that it was useless for them to play Glory anymore because of their loss in the last competition. Then, Wei Chen told them that they lost because of Wu Chen. He said that Wu Chen had betrayed them by selling the information about their team to the opposing team. But Wen Ai said that they lost because of Wei Chen himself. He blamed Wei Chen and said that he had failed to take responsibility as the temporary team captain then. The members of Happy blamed each other. They got mad at each other and got into arguments because everyone got mad and blamed each other. Wei Chen impulsively suggested them to disband their team. Apparently, Yishu had been listening to them from another room. He finally entered the room and interrupted them. He told them to decide the future of the team. He told them to decide if they wanted to stay in the team or just give up. Wei Chen decided to leave Happy and return to his house. That afternoon, he was playing Glory with his old friends. But since his old friends were busy with their jobs, they couldn't stay longer to play with him. They left one by one until Wei Chen didn't have a team to play Glory with anymore. Little Tang also decided to leave Happy. She returned to her old music academy. As soon as she arrived there, she had a conversation with her old teacher there. She told her teacher that she wouldn't leave the academy anymore. At home, Wei Chen had no idea what he was going to do with Glory anymore. So, he finally decided to sell his Glory account. It was an old and historical account which had unlocked a lot of weapons and skills. When he was about to sign the purchase and sale agreement, Baozi suddenly came to his house. He was surprised to see Wei Chen going to sell his Glory account. So, he got rid of Wei Chen's pen immediately to prevent him from signing that purchase and sale agreement. Because of that, Wei Chen got angry at him. He was annoyed by Baozi because he really needed some money. So, he had to sell his Glory account. Then, Wei Chen told Baozi that he was too old to become a Glory player, especially to consider that his wrist was injured. He wouldn't perform well with his injured hand. Baozi said that everyone would stop playing Glory at the end, but it was up to them if they wanted to quit as a loser or as a winner. Wei Chen didn't listen to him. He returned to his house and continued his transaction. He finally signed the purchase and sale agreement and sold his Glory account at another place. Mo Fan was hanging out at a coffee shop. He wished that the members of Happy would return to that coffee shop soon. Suddenly, Sumucheng approached him. She said that she believed that the members of Happy would reunite soon after that. Sumucheng visited Happy Internet Cafe to meet with Yishu. Yishu told her that he had collected the materials that were needed to fix Myriad Manifestation Umbrella. He tried to fix the weapon with those materials, but he didn't think that it was the same weapon like it was before. Because of that, Yishu wanted to give up. He wanted to stop playing Glory. Then, Sumucheng gave a coin to him. It was a lucky coin that belonged to her brother. Sumucheng said that Sumuxiu used that coin to decide if he should leave her or not. Back then, Sumucheng and Sumuxiu were orphans when Sumucheng was going to be adopted by her new parents. Sumuxiu couldn't decide if he had to let her leave or that they should stay together, so he used that lucky coin to make a decision. While Sumuxiu was flipping that coin, Yishu suddenly walked past him. Since then, Yishu, Sumucheng, and Sumuxiu became friends. Sumucheng said that Yishu was the most beautiful thing that ever happened in her and her brother's life. Then, Sumucheng asked Yishu not to give up. She asked him to try to fix and perfect Myriad Manifestation Umbrella again. She knew that the weapon was so special to him because it was made by her brother. At Happy Internet Cafe, Guo Guo was holding an unofficial press conference. The journalists asked her about what was going to happen to Happy. Guo Guo was overwhelmed by their questions when she had no idea about what to say to them. Wu Chen suddenly came. He helped her to answer those journalists' questions. He told those journalists that all members of Happy were leaving the team for a while, so there was nothing to be worried about them. Then, Guo Guo and Wu Chen walked down the streets together. Wu Chen told Guo Guo that he had met with his friends from other teams to ask them for help. He asked them to help him finding materials that were needed to perfect Myriad Manifestation Umbrella. So, Wei Chen's suspicion that Wu Chen was going to betray Happy was not true. Guo and Wu Chen were the only members of Happy who still stayed at their base camp in the evening. They attended the press conference of the final competition. The final competition would be held in the same evening. When they arrived there, the journalists realized that it was only Guo and Wu Chen who attended the press conference. So, they accused them of lying to them. They thought that there was something that they were hiding from the world. While Guo was trying to explain about their situation to the journalists, Yishu suddenly came to that place. Guo and Wu Chen were happy to see him. Then, Yishu made a speech. He said that winning or losing was a part of a game. So, it wasn't really important if you won or lost. The most important thing in this life was not giving up in life. Yishu also said that glory was only one of the choices that the life offered. There were millions of choices that people could choose out there, and when they had chosen something, they had to fight for it. And suddenly, the missing members of Happy appeared one by one. All members of Happy finally reunited on the stage. They decided to play in the last competition. After that, all of them returned to Happy base camp. When they were talking in the dining room, Wei Chen told them that he didn't sell his glory account because of Baozi while he was about to sign the purchase and sale agreement for the second time. Baozi suddenly came and tore up the agreement. Then, each member of Happy told them about what they were doing when they were gone. Apparently, all of them planned to help EQIU to fix Myriad Manifestation Umbrella. After that, Yishu analyzed the broken Myriad Manifestation Umbrella. He wanted to find the errors in that weapon. Suddenly, he had a hallucination where he saw Sumuxiu giving him a clue about the error in that weapon. Yishu then realized that he needed to fix the hilt of Myriad Manifestation Umbrella. After that, Yishu told his team about it. The members of Happy then divided the tasks to find the materials needed to fix and upgrade Myriad Manifestation Umbrella at another place. The members of Excellent Era were having a meeting. The meeting was led by Zhao Shikin. He told them that Glory had added 5 new levels to the game. It meant that they needed to complete new missions and work so hard to reach new maximum level. Then, Zhao Shikin presented a new member of Excellent Era to their team. That new member was called QIU Fei. He just got promoted from the team too. He was also one of Yishu's students, but Yishu once sent him abroad to study because of his anger issue. Now that he had finished his study abroad, he returned to Excellent Era to find Yishu. Unfortunately, Yishu had left Excellent Era and created his own team. Sun Jiang was surprised when he found out that QIU Fei was basically the same person as him. They shared the same abilities, profession, and even personalities. Because of that, Sun Jiang suggested that they trained together. He said that they could be the main killers in Excellent Era at Happy Internet Cafe. The members of Happy had completed many missions. They had also reached many high scores. They were working so hard to find the last material that was needed to fix and upgrade Myriad Manifestation Umbrella. That last material was called Blue-White Crystal, but unfortunately, that material had been taken by Excellent Era. Excellent Era managed to get the highest score when they completed a mission, so the members of Happy were trying to find a way to get Blue-White Crystal. They finally found a way. They had to complete a normal mission for several times. Then, Guo came to that place. She brought all members of their guild and their supporters there. They were going to help them to complete their mission and get the rare Blue-White Crystal. Because of their help, Guo finally managed to find Blue-White Crystal, the last material that was needed to perfect Myriad Manifestation Umbrella. While the members of Happy were about to take an official picture of themselves, they suddenly received some news. In that news, it was stated that the rules of the last competition had been changed. There wouldn't be any individual battles in the last competition anymore. Those battles would be changed with point system. Any team would earn 2 points if they killed a member of the opposing team. At the office of Excellent Era, the manager Tao called Su Mucheng to his room. He wanted to talk about Su Mucheng's contract extension for the next 3 years. He told her that she was going to have some personal training sessions with a mentor, but Su Mucheng said that she wouldn't extend the terms of her agreement with Excellent Era. Tao was surprised when he heard that. He suspected that Su Mucheng planned to move to Happy because of that. He threatened to ban her from joining the last competition. He worried if Su Mucheng played recklessly so Happy would win in the competition. Su Mucheng then told him that she was a professional esports player because she was still a member of Excellent Era. She would play as best as she could for her team. The final competition would be held in 3 hours. Both Happy and Excellent Era were planning the best strategies that they would use in the competition. When Tao and the members of Excellent Era arrived at the stadium, the journalists chased them immediately. Those journalists knew that Su Mucheng's contract with Excellent Era would end soon. They asked Su Mucheng with many questions related to it. Su Mucheng was uncomfortable by their questions, so she left them right away. When the members of Happy arrived there, those journalists also chased them right away. They asked Little Tang about her promise to stop playing Glory when she lost in the competition back then. Little Tang apologized to them because she had behaved arrogantly. She said that she would keep playing Glory with Happy even though it meant that she had to break her promise. Then, the members of Happy continued their journey to the venue. While they were heading there, Yi Qiu reminded them again about the roles of each of them and the strategies that they would use. The spectator seats were full of people, including the captains of the great teams and the senior players of Glory. Xiaoshan also attended that competition, but not as a spectator but as a sportscaster. The competition finally began. The sportscaster told the spectators again that the rules of the last competition had been changed. So, there would be only 2 battles in this competition. Those were the regular battle and the team battle. For each battle, both teams should send 6 players to compete against their opponents. They would earn scores each time they managed to kill their opponent. The first battle finally began. Happy sent Little Tang to play in the first battle. Meanwhile, Excellent Era sent Zhao Shiqin to play in the first battle. The members of Happy were surprised when they saw that. They thought that Excellent Era would send Sun Zhang to play first to grab the audience's attention. It seemed like Excellent Era wanted to tell the world that Sun Zhang had changed. It seemed that Sun Zhang could control himself and knew how to prioritize his team now. Even though Zhao Shiqin was a master tactician, Little Tang had higher actions per minute or APM than Zhao Shiqin's APM. But still, Little Tang was struggling to fight Zhao Shiqin because she lacked experiences and skills. Because of that, Little Tang was finally defeated by Zhao Shiqin. Zhao Shiqin still had 70% energy left after he fought Little Tang for a while. When Little Tang returned to her team, Yi Qiu and Guo cheered her up immediately. They told her that it was normal if Little Tang couldn't defeat Zhao Shiqin since he was a master tactician who had been playing Glory for a long time. So, it was actually unfair if a beginner like Little Tang fought a skilled and experienced player like Zhao Shiqin. Because of that, Little Tang shouldn't be sad and blame herself in the next battle. Mo Fan was going to compete against Zhao Shiqin. Turned out, he was also struggling to fight Zhao Shiqin. It was difficult for him to approach his enemy, so he attacked Zhao Shiqin recklessly. His reckless moves were easily predicted by Zhao Shiqin. Because of that, Zhao Shiqin managed to attack him easily. Mo Fan was struggling to attack him back. He was finally defeated by him. So far, Zhao Shiqin had earned 4 points for his team because he managed to defeat 2 members of the opposing team. Then, in the next battle, Yifan was going to compete against Zhao Shiqin. At the beginning of the game, Yifan performed really well. It seemed like he had improved a lot. He wasn't the same Yifan who was playing for Tiny Herb back then. During the game, Yifan even managed to trap Zhao Shiqin. Zhao Shiqin was struggling to free himself from his trap. But unfortunately, while Zhao Shiqin was almost defeated, Yifan suddenly stepped on a mine that was built by Zhao Shiqin. Both Zhao Shiqin and Yifan finally died at the end. Because of that, they had the same score in the next battle. Yishu was going to compete against Qiu Fei, his former student. During the game, Qiu Fei dominated at the beginning of the game. But suddenly, Yishu disappeared without a trace. Qiu Fei couldn't see him anywhere. But Yishu suddenly reappeared and attacked him relentlessly. Qiu Fei was struggling to fight him back. From their battle, it was obvious that Yishu was more skilled and experienced than Qiu Fei. Qiu Fei was finally defeated by Yishu in the next battle. Sun Zhang was going to compete against Yishu. Before the battle began, Yishu recovered his energy first because he had lost a lot of energy when he fought Qiu Fei before. After he gained 70% of his energy back, he finally told Sun Zhang that he was ready to fight during the game. Sun Zhang showed his new skills to Yishu. He got those new skills after he completed all missions to unlock the new levels. It also seemed that he had improved a lot. Yishu had no idea how hard Sun Zhang was working to fight in this competition. He was struggling to fight Sun Zhang. Because Sun Zhang dominated in the game, he began to become arrogant. Yishu had been observing how Sun Jiang played all this time and he finally understood his secret. Apparently, Sun Jiang had studied one autumn leaf, the god-level account that formerly used by Yishu but now belonged to Sun Jiang. Because of that, Yishu finally managed to attack Sun Jiang back. Sun Jiang was nervous because he had only 10% energy left. So, he attacked Yishu with his ultimate power. Everybody who watched them was amazed when they saw Sun Jiang deflecting his ultimate power up to 180 degrees. They were getting more surprised when they found out that the winner of that battle was Yishu and not Sun Jiang. They believed that Sun Jiang had defeated Yishu with his ultimate power, but when the video recording of the battle was replayed, they saw that Yishu approached Sun Jiang quietly, so Sun Jiang's ultimate power would be diverted to Sun Jiang. Since Sun Jiang was busy emitting his ultimate power, he would be unable to stop or avoid his own attack. Because of that, Yishu managed to defeat Sun Jiang. He had only 0.03% energy left. Sun Jiang smiled when he found out that he lost in that battle. It seemed that he had really changed. He could control his ego and anger now. He accepted his defeat gracefully. Yishu decided to went off the stage because his character almost had no energy to fight anymore, so, in the next battle, he would be replaced by Wei Chen. Wei Chen was going to compete against Gorilla, a member of Excellent Era. During the game, Wei Chen's injured hand began to stop him from performing well. Yishu noticed that Wei Chen was struggling to fight his enemy, so he asked Baozi if Wei Chen's hand was alright. At first, Baozi lied about Wei Chen's injured hand, but he finally gave up and told Yishu about everything. But then he said that Wei Chen had taken sedatives before the competition began despite his injured hand. Wei Chen insisted on playing in this competition. It was because this competition might be the last competition for him, so Wei Chen decided to fight until the end. And his dedication finally paid off. Wei Chen managed to defeat his enemy and become the winner in this battle. In the next battle, Wei Chen was going to compete against Su Muchen. Before Su Muchen went to the stage, Tao approached her. Tao threatened her that if she lost in this battle, then he would accuse her of cheating and betraying Excellent Era. He would tell the world that she lost purposely so Happy could win. If the world found out about that, then they would question and doubt Su Muchen's professionalism. Zhao Shiqin expressed his objection immediately to what Tao had said, but Tao didn't care about that. As soon as the battle began, Su Muchen was looking for and running toward a high place. She needed to go there to find out about Wei Chen's location. She planned to end their battle quickly. After Su Muchen found a high place and found where Wei Chen was, she attacked her opponent relentlessly. She managed to attack Wei Chen even from a long range. She didn't even give a chance for Wei Chen to breathe. Wei Chen was struggling to fight her back. Because of that, he was finally defeated by Su Muchen. Su Muchen was really hurt by what her manager Tao said to her early. She disappointed in him, so she decided that it was the last time for her to play for Excellent Era. After she went off the stage, she didn't return to her team. She sat with the members of Happy instead. The regular battle was finally ended. Excellent Era managed to win over Happy by the score of 34-29. After that, Happy and Excellent Era were going to compete against each other in a team battle. In this battle, Zhao Shiqin and Yishu were going to prove who was the best between them. Long before the competition began, each of them had been preparing the best strategies to fight each other in the competition. The battle between Excellent Era and Happy finally began. During the game, Yi Qiu fired a gun into the air to distract the attention of the members of Excellent Era. The members of Excellent Era divided themselves into two teams with different tasks. Sun Jiang and Qiu Fei were assigned to find Yishu. When they found Yishu, they attacked him together immediately. Yishu kept avoiding their attacks. He was waiting for a chance to attack them back. He was struggling to fight them because he was outnumbered, and both Sun Jiang and Qiu Fei were great players. But then, he remembered that Sun Jiang and Qiu Fei had anger issues. So, he planned to ruin their teamwork by breaking the rhythm of their attacks. At another place, while Yifan, Baozi, and Little Tang were chasing Zhao Shiqin, they suddenly stepped on a mine. Zhao Shiqin knew that they were going to chase him, so he built that mine. He also told his teammates to hide and wait there. Then, other members of Excellent Era appeared and attacked Yifan, Baozi, and Little Tang. Meanwhile, Yishu was still struggling to fight Sun Jiang and Qiu Fei. Apparently, Happy had a secret weapon. It was used by Wu Chen. When Yishu finally had a chance to stay away from his enemies, he asked Wu Chen to help him. Wu Chen immediately shot Sun Zhang and Qiu Fei. He shot them at a long range. While Wu Chen was attacking them, Yi Shu ran away from that place right away. Then, Wu Chen also helped Yi Fan, Baozi, and Little Tang. He relentlessly shot the members of Excellent Era, at a long range. He didn't give a chance for them to breathe. He used that moment to take revenge on them. His attacks managed to kill a member of Excellent Era after one of their players died. Excellent Era quickly added their substitute player to the game since Wu Chen was around the portal of Excellent Era. He attacked that substitute player immediately before he managed to join Zhao Shiqin and the others. Wu Chen had no other option but to fight him at close range. The continuous attacks from Excellent Era made Happy tired and struggle. Those attacks also ruined the formation that Happy had created. Then, the members of Happy saw Zhao Shiqin and the injured healer of Excellent Era. They were chasing them immediately. Meanwhile, Wu Chen was still fighting the substitute player of Excellent Era. He didn't care if his melee attacks were too risky and could put him in danger. But finally, he managed to defeat his enemy even though he also died at the end after Wu Chen died. Happy quickly added their substitute player, and Wenyi, to the game at another place. Yi Shu managed to run away from Sun Zhang and Qiu Fei. He met the healer of Excellent Era, and managed to defeat him. After that, he was chasing Zhao Shiqin. Zhao Shiqin was being constantly attacked by Yi Fan, Baozi, and Little Tang. He lost a lot of his energy because of their attacks. Because of his low energy, he thought that it was impossible for him to fight or run away from them. So, he planned to carry out a suicide bombing attack. Yi Shu noticed what he was going to do. He told his friends to run away from that place immediately. But unfortunately, it was already too late. Baozi and Yi Fan became the victims of that suicide bombing attack. They died together with Zhao Shiqin. Meanwhile, Little Tang managed to survive. She was saved by Yi Shu, who came there and protected her at the right time. After that incident, the members of Happy had to change their strategies. Not long after that, Sun Zhang and Qiu Fei found Yi Shu and Little Tang. They attacked them immediately. Yi Shu was struggling to fight them because he had to recover Little Tang's energy at the same time. Fortunately, and Wenyi, the healer of Happy, finally came and helped Yi Shu to recover Little Tang's energy. After Little Tang gained her energy back, she attacked Qiu Fei right away. After they fought for a while, Little Tang finally managed to defeat him. But since Qiu Fei's ultimate power was too powerful, Little Tang and Wenyi also died from his attack. Because of that, Excellent Era managed to earn more points than Excellent Era. If the winner of this competition was decided by the team that earned more points, then Excellent Era would become the winner after the incidents that killed the members of both Happy and Excellent Era. There were only Yi Shu and Sun Zhang left. Even though Excellent Era was going to become the winner, Yi Shu refused to give up. He decided to fight Sun Zhang until the end. The fierce battle between Yi Shu and Sun Zhang finally began. They fought as best as they could to defeat each other, but Yi Qiu finally began to dominate in their fight. He finally managed to defeat Sun Zhang for the second time in that competition. With the death of Sun Zhang, Happy became the winner in the second battle, but their score was still lower than Excellent Era score. The members and the supporters of Happy were sad because the difference of their scores was only 1 point. Excellent Era managed to win over them by the score of 44-43. But then, while the members of Happy were sad because of their loss, their score on the screen suddenly changed. The score of their team was changed from 43 to 45 apparently. Yi Shu had set a new record in creating the biggest damage output. The last glory player who had the biggest damage output was Han Wenking. Nobody had broken his record for 4 years. But tonight, Yi Shu managed to break his record, so Happy was rewarded with 2 points for breaking that record. When they saw that, all members and supporters of Happy cheered. They were extremely happy because Happy finally became the winner in that competition. After the manager of Excellent Era, Tao, saw that, he quickly blamed Sun Zhang for the loss of Excellent Era. He said that it was because Sun Zhang that they lost in this competition. He scolded and verbally harassed Sun Zhang in front of their supporters on the stage. As the winner of the competition, all members of Happy were rewarded with the main prizes, including a trophy, a car, and a certificate. They could use that certificate to join the Challenger League in the evening. All of them went out together to celebrate their victory. Not long after that, Happy made an announcement that they were going to join the Challenger League. The journalists interviewed the captains of the great professional teams one by one. In the next morning, while the members of Happy were watching the news, they found out that Excellent Era had declared their bankruptcy. As the consequence, all members of Excellent Era had to leave Excellent Era and join other teams. After that, Yishu and Suma-chung went to the office of Excellent Era. They went there to pack Suma-chung's things. While Yishu was walking around the rooms in the office, he saw Tao playing Glory alone in the game room. He and Tao then talked about their past. Tao admitted that he had made a mistake in the past. He thought that they could be a great team back then, but the past was in the past. He couldn't change anything about it, even though he regretted it after that. Tao gave Suma-chung's Glory account card to Yishu. He told him to give that card to Suma-chung. A few days later, they found out that Sun Zhang had been recruited by a great professional team. Because of that, the game tournament would be more competitive to them. It meant that they had to prepare themselves and do their best to compete against other teams in the main game tournament.